The abandoned cruise ship stood quietly near the old port, tied to the dock like it had been forgotten by time. Its white paint had turned gray, and rust ran down its sides like long scars. Broken windows reflected the sea, and the name of the ship was almost unreadable. 4 years, people passed by it without stopping. To most, it was only a problem made of steel. But for one girl, it was an opportunity. Her name was Lena. Lena was a mechanic who worked with her hands every day. She was not rich, and she did not live an easy life. She rented a small room near the docks and worked long hours fixing engines, fishing boats, and old machines that others gave up on. Her clothes were often stained with oil, and her hands were rough from years of hard work. Still, she loved what she did. Lena learned everything from her father. He was also a mechanic and taught her how machines spoke without words. He showed her how to listen to sounds, feel vibrations, and understand when metal was tired or broken. When her father passed away, Lena was still young, but she kept his lessons close to her heart. Machines never scared her. She trusted them more than people. One quiet night, after a long day of work, Lena sat in her small room scrolling through online listings. She was not looking for anything special. Mostly, she searched for cheap tools or old engines she could fix and resell. Then she saw something unusual. An auction listing showed an abandoned cruise ship for sale. The price was very low for something so large. Lena read the description carefully. The ship had been empty for many years. It had engine problems and electrical failure. The owner wanted it gone. No guarantees were given. Lena leaned closer to the screen. Her heart started beating faster. She looked at the photos again and again. The ship was huge. Even in bad condition, it was strong. The metal body was thick, built in a time when ships were made to last. Most people would scroll past. Lena did not. She tried to sleep that night, but her mind kept returning to the ship. She imagined walking through its halls, opening engine panels, and bringing systems back to life. By morning, she had made her decision. Lena went to the port the same day. The ship looked even bigger in real life. Seagulls rested on its rails. The water around it was dark and still. A dock worker watched Lena with surprise when she stopped and stared. "You looking at that ship?" he asked. "Yes," Lena replied. He shook his head slowly. "Bad idea. Too old. Too expensive. People tried to inspect it before, but they walked away." Lena did not argue. She only asked for permission to step on board. The metal ladder was cold under her hands as she climbed up. When her boots touched the deck, the ship made a low sound, like it was waking up. Lena stood still for a moment, listening. The air smelled of salt and rust. It felt heavy but calm. Inside the ship, everything was quiet. Chairs were overturned. Old signs pointed to rooms that no longer mattered. In the dining area, plates and glasses were still stacked on shelves, covered in dust. It felt like time had stopped suddenly. Lena walked slowly, her flashlight lighting the dark corners. She checked walls, floors, and ceilings. She saw damage, but nothing that scared her. When she reached the engine room, her eyes widened. The machines were old but well built. Thick pipes, heavy steel, and solid frames filled the space. She smiled. "These machines can work again," she said softly. Over the next few days, Lena returned again and again. She inspected every level she could access. She made notes and calculations. The repairs would be hard, but possible. What worried her was the cost. She did not have much money. Still, Lena did not stop. She sold her small workshop. She sold extra tools. She sold her old truck that barely started anymore. Friends told her she was making a mistake. Some said she would lose everything. Lena listened quietly but stayed firm. A week later, she signed the papers. The abandoned cruise ship now belonged to her. The first night she stayed on the ship, the air was cold. She used a small lamp and a blanket. The waves hit the hull gently, creating slow sounds that echoed through the metal body. Lena lay awake, staring at the ceiling, feeling both fear and excitement. Late at night, she heard something strange. It was a deep sound, like metal moving far below. It did not sound random. It happened again, slow and steady. Lena sat up. The ship should have been completely silent. She picked up her flashlight and followed the sound down a narrow hallway. The path led her to a lower level she had not explored before. At the end of the hall stood a large steel door. It was thick and sealed. Warning signs were painted on it, but they were faded and hard to read. Lena placed her hand on the door. The metal felt warm. Her breath slowed. Ships left alone for years did not have warm sealed rooms. That meant something inside was still active or protected. Lena stepped back, her mind racing with questions. She did not know it yet, but behind that door was the first clue to a secret that would change her life forever. And this was only the beginning. Lena stood in front of the sealed steel door for a long time. The hallway around her was silent. Only the soft sound of water touching the ship reached her ears. She removed her hand from the door and took a slow breath. She did not open it that night. She was tired, and fear mixed with curiosity can lead to mistakes. Lena had learned that lesson from years of working with dangerous machines. She returned to her small sleeping area and waited for morning. When daylight entered through the dusty windows, Lena felt stronger. She ate a simple meal, checked her tools, and went back to the lower level. The steel door was still warm. That alone told her this space mattered. She studied the door carefully. The lock was old but complex. This was not a normal storage room. Cruise ships usually had clear markings, but this door felt different. It looked added later, not part of the original design. Lena used her tools slowly and carefully. It took time, but finally the lock gave way with a quiet sound. The door opened just enough for her to step inside. The room behind it was clean. That surprised her. No rust. No dust. The walls were lined with metal panels, and the floor was solid and dry. Soft lights turned on automatically when she entered. Lena froze. Electricity should not be working on this ship. She followed the cables with her eyes. Someone had installed a separate power system. It was hidden and well protected. This was no accident. In the center of the room stood several large metal crates. They were sealed and marked with numbers. Lena walked closer and examined one. The metal was strong, and the seal was untouched. Whatever was inside had been kept safe for a very long time. She opened one crate slowly. Inside were boxes wrapped in thick plastic. Lena carefully removed one and opened it. Her breath caught. Inside were stacks of old documents, maps, and sealed folders. The paper looked official and valuable. Some pages had stamps and signatures from different countries. Lena did not understand everything she saw, but she knew this was important. She checked another crate. This one held heavy bars wrapped in protective cloth. She lifted one with effort. It was dense and cold. She scratched the surface slightly and saw a shine beneath. Gold. Her hands trembled, but she stayed calm. Panic leads to mistakes. She closed the crate and stepped back. This ship was not abandoned because it was useless. It had been hidden. Lena spent the rest of the day exploring the secret room. She found more crates filled with rare metals, old coins, and sealed boxes with symbols she did not recognize. Everything was organized carefully. Someone had planned this place. As night fell, Lena locked the door again. She returned to the upper deck and sat near a broken window, watching the water. Her mind raced. She now owned something much bigger than a broken ship. But she also knew danger followed value. The next morning, Lena noticed something else. Fresh footprints near the dock. Someone had been there recently. She watched from the deck as a small boat passed slowly, then moved away. She decided not to stay alone anymore. Lena contacted an old friend named Maya, a marine engineer who once helped her with a difficult repair. Maya was smart and careful, and most importantly, she could keep secrets. Lena did not explain everything over the phone. She only said she needed help and trusted her. Maya arrived 2 days later. When Lena showed her the hidden room, Maya stayed silent for a long time. She touched the walls, checked the cables, and examined the crates. "This is professional work," Maya said finally. "Someone with power and money built this." They spent hours reviewing documents together. Some papers mentioned shipping routes, private transfers, and lost cargo reports from many years ago. The numbers were huge. Maya calculated quickly and shook her head. "If this is real, the value could be around 75 million, she said quietly. Lena felt dizzy hearing the number. That kind of money could change everything. But it could also destroy everything. They agreed on one rule. No one else could know. Not yet. Over the next few weeks, Lena and Maya worked on the ship openly, making it look like simple repairs. Lena fixed engines and wiring above deck. Maya handled systems below. At the same time, they secretly documented every crate and paper. One afternoon, Lena noticed a black car parked near the port for several hours. The driver never left. When she moved to another part of the deck, the car moved too. That night, Lena could not sleep. She realized the ship was no longer just a dream or a project. It was a target. Someone new. The next morning, she found a note slipped under the gangway rope. No name. No signature. Only a few words written clearly. "You found something that does not belong to you." Lena folded the note slowly. She did not panic. She had come too far for fear to stop her now. Instead, she looked at the massive ship around her and made a decision. If someone wanted what was hidden inside, they would have to face the mechanic who brought dead machines back to life. And she was just getting started. After finding the note, Lena became more careful with every move she made. She did not show fear on her face, but inside her mind stayed alert all the time. She knew now that the ship was being watched. Someone out there wanted what was hidden inside, and they were waiting for a chance. Lena shared the note with Maya. Maya read it slowly and then looked around the ship. "They are testing you," Maya said. "They want to see if you panic." Lena nodded. "I will not." They decided to change their routine. Lena continued working on the ship during the day, fixing visible parts like engines, pipes, and broken doors. Anyone watching would think she was just another mechanic wasting time on an old ship. At night, Lena and Maya worked quietly in the hidden room, checking documents and listing everything they found. They discovered that the cargo was moved many years ago under false names. The ship had traveled across several countries, stopping only at small ports. The papers showed that powerful groups used the ship to move valuable materials secretly. When trouble came, they abandoned the ship and never returned. "This place was meant to be forgotten," Maya said. "But it was not," Lena replied. One evening, while Lena was tightening bolts near the engine room, she heard voices above deck. She turned off her tool and listened carefully. 2 men were talking. Their voices were calm but serious. Lena moved slowly and looked through a small opening. The men were standing near the railing, pretending to check the water. They did not wear work clothes. Their shoes were clean. Too clean for a port. One of them spoke. "She is still fixing it." The other replied, "Let her. We will act when the time is right." Lena stepped back quietly. Her heart beat faster, but her hands stayed steady. She returned to her work like nothing happened. That night, Lena and Maya agreed they could not wait anymore. The secret was too big to stay hidden forever. They needed legal protection. They needed proof. They contacted a trusted shipping lawyer named Noah. He was known for handling difficult cases and staying silent when needed. Lena met him in a small office far from the port. She brought copies of some documents, not everything. Noah studied the papers carefully. His face grew serious. "This is dangerous," he said. But you are the legal owner of the ship. What is inside it belongs to you unless someone proves otherwise. Can someone take it from me? Lena asked. Yes, Noah replied honestly. If they move faster than you. That answer made Lena move faster. With Noah's help, they started the process of registering the cargo officially. It was slow and complex, but it created a legal trail. That trail was protection. Back on the ship, strange things started happening. Tools were moved. Doors were left open. One night, Lena found footprints near the sealed room again. Someone had tried to open the door but failed. Lena upgraded the security using old ship systems. She restored cameras, alarms, and motion sensors using spare parts. Machines listened to her hands like they always had. A week later, the men returned. This time, they did not hide. They approached Lena during the afternoon while she worked near the deck. They smiled politely. You are doing impressive work, one of them said. That ship looked dead. Machines rest, Lena replied. They do not die. The man nodded. You found something valuable. I found a ship, Lena said calmly. The other man stepped closer. You should sell it. I already own it, Lena replied. Their smiles faded slightly. Some things bring trouble, the first man said. It is better to walk away while you can. Lena looked straight at them. I do not walk away from my work. They exchanged looks and left without another word. That night, Maya warned Lena. They will not wait much longer. Lena agreed. A few days later, the port woke up to noise. Government officials arrived. Inspectors stepped onto the ship. Noah stood beside Lena, calm and confident. The men from before watched from a distance, clearly angry. The inspection took all day. Every crate was documented. Every document was checked. Lena answered questions honestly. She had nothing to hide. When the inspection ended, the lead officer shook Lena's hand. You found something important, he said. This cargo is now under legal review. That sentence changed everything. The men disappeared after that day. The black car never returned. The ship was placed under protection. Weeks later, the official valuation came back. The total worth of the cargo inside the ship was confirmed at $75 million. Lena stood on the deck alone that evening, watching the sunset paint the water gold. The ship no longer felt like a ghost. It felt alive. She thought about her father, her small workshop, and the nights she spent fixing machines nobody wanted. She did not feel proud because of the money. She felt proud because she trusted her skill and her courage. The abandoned cruise ship did not change her. It revealed who she already was. And the story was not over yet. After the official valuation was announced, life around the cruise ship changed completely. The quiet dock became busy again. Security guards were placed at the entrance. Officials visited often. Cameras were installed on nearby poles. The ship that once looked forgotten was now important. Lena noticed every change. She still woke up early and worked with her hands, but now people watched her every move. Some were curious. Some were careful. Some looked unhappy. Lena stayed calm and focused. She had learned long ago that attention could be heavier than hard work. Maya stayed close, helping Lena manage both the repairs and the paperwork. Noah handled the legal side, making sure everything stayed clean and documented. The cargo was placed under temporary protection, but ownership still mattered. Many groups were now asking questions. News about the ship spread quietly at first, then faster. Reporters tried to enter the port. Officials blocked them. The story of a mechanic girl buying an abandoned cruise ship became something people whispered about. Lena did not talk to the media. She did not want fame. She wanted control. One afternoon, an official meeting was arranged on the ship. Representatives from shipping companies, port authorities, and government offices gathered in the main hall. Lena stood at the front, wearing her usual work clothes. She looked simple, but her eyes were sharp. An older official spoke first. This ship has history. It also carries responsibility. Lena nodded. I understand. Another man added, you could sell the cargo and walk away very rich. Lena looked around the room. Money without purpose disappears fast. The room went silent. She explained her plans slowly and clearly. She wanted to restore part of the ship. Not to sail the world, but to turn it into something useful. A repair training center. A place where young mechanics could learn real skills. The cargo would fund the project legally after all reviews were complete. Some people were surprised. Others smiled. You could live anywhere, one woman said. Why stay here? Lena answered honestly. This ship gave me a chance. I want to give chances too. While plans moved forward, pressure did not stop. Lena received offers from companies wanting to buy the ship itself. Some offers were fair. Some were aggressive. She refused them all. One evening, while walking near the lower deck, Lena felt a strange sense of danger again. Not fear, but awareness. She noticed a small panel near the hidden room had been disturbed. Someone had tried to access the area using knowledge of the ship. She called Maya immediately. Together, they checked the systems. Someone had attempted to bypass a security line but failed. Lena upgraded the system again, adding manual locks and alarms that only she could control. They are desperate, Maya said. Desperate people make mistakes. Lena nodded. So must we avoid them. Days later, a final legal decision arrived. The cargo was officially confirmed as unclaimed and legally transferred to Lena under strict conditions. Taxes, fees, and reviews were completed. It was real. 75 million was no longer just a number. Lena sat alone that night in the engine room, the place where her journey began. She placed her hand on one of the machines and closed her eyes. She thought about the nights she worked without rest, the voices warning her to stop, and the door that felt warm when it should not have. She smiled softly. The next months were busy. Restoration work began. Old systems were removed carefully. New power lines were installed. Young workers joined the project. Lena taught them how to respect machines, how to listen, and how to fix without rushing. The ship slowly changed. Not into luxury, but into strength. One day, Maya brought Lena a report. All threats have stopped. No more watching. No more messages. Lena felt relief for the first time in a long while. At sunset, Lena stood on the deck again. The water reflected the sky. The ship no longer felt like a secret or a risk. It felt like home. She did not know what the future would bring, but she knew one thing clearly. She had turned an abandoned ship into a living purpose. And the final chapter was still waiting. The final phase of the project began quietly, without celebration. Lena preferred it that way. The cruise ship no longer looked abandoned. Fresh paint covered the rusted sides. Lights glowed softly through repaired windows. The dock felt alive again, filled with steady work instead of silence. Lena walked the deck every morning before anyone else arrived. She checked doors, listened to the hum of restored systems, and placed her hand on the rail to feel the vibration of the ship. It felt strong, stable, awake. The training center opened step by step. Young men and women arrived from nearby towns. Some had never touched heavy tools before. Others came from families where work was hard and chances were rare. Lena welcomed them all with the same calm respect. She did not give long speeches. She showed them how to work. She taught them how to hold tools properly, how to hear when a machine was struggling, how to fix a problem without forcing it. She told them that machines reflected people. If you rushed, they failed. If you listened, they responded. Maya managed systems and safety. Noah handled final legal matters and contracts. Everything moved forward cleanly and correctly. The money was placed under controlled use. Every part of it was tracked. Lena refused shortcuts. News about the ship reached farther places. Some called it a miracle. Others called it luck. Lena did not argue. She knew luck only opens doors. Walking through them takes effort. One afternoon, an older dockworker approached Lena. He had once warned her to stay away. "I was wrong," he said honestly. "You changed this place." Lena smiled politely. The ship changed it too. As months passed, the training center gained respect. Companies began offering apprenticeships to students who trained there. The port gained new life. Small businesses returned. The ship became a symbol of recovery. Lena stayed the same. She still wore simple clothes. She still worked with oil on her hands. She still lived on the ship in a small cabin near the engine room. That place reminded her where it all began. One evening, Lena received a message from Noah. The final audit was complete. Everything was settled. No claims. No threats. No hidden pressure. She stood alone in the secret room one last time. The crates were now empty. The documents were archived legally. The room no longer held secrets. It held history. Lena turned off the lights and locked the door. Not because she feared something, but because that chapter was complete. Later that night, the students gathered on the deck. They wanted to thank her. Someone had brought food. Another brought music from a small speaker. It was not loud. It was warm. One student spoke. "You showed us that broken things are not useless." Lena looked at the faces around her. She felt something rare. Peace. She replied simply, "Everything deserves one honest chance." The ship rested quietly under the stars. The water moved gently around it. No shadows watched from a distance. No engines followed silently. Only the sound of life continuing. Lena thought about the day she first climbed onto the ship. The fear. The silence. The warm door that should not have been warm. She realized that the true value was not the money. The true value was courage. The abandoned cruise ship was once a problem nobody wanted. Now it was a place of learning, work, and hope. Lena did not become famous. She did not chase attention. She stayed where she belonged. Among machines. Among people who believed in fixing rather than giving up. And that was worth more than 75 million. The end.